Hi, I'm John Koon, and this is Vidalia City School News, an inside look at the happenings of the Vidalia City School system. Today, my guest is Trippe Middle School Athletic Director and Vidalia High School softball coach, Brad Thompson. First of all, thanks for taking time to being with us. I know that during this crazy time we're in right now that your routine, as everybody else has gotten messed up. What has been the routine for Brad Thompson since all this took place?
Well, when we first got out, it was kind of weird. It was like I was just trying to find things to do to stay busy, and obviously, as you've seen, we redid the old batting cage at the high school down here and turned it into a bullpen. But that only took 3 or 4 days, and then we were scrambling trying to find some other things to do. So really, just a lot of kind of self-reflection, thinking about where we can become better as a softball team this year, and just everyday life, I guess.
Not only do you have the responsibility as the AD at Trippe and a softball coach at Vidalia, but you're also a parent of a high school age teenager. So how's this affected Danny and how she reacted?
Yeah, Danny's she's kind of like every other kid. She was unsure to begin with, but she got into her own little routine. Danny's one of these kids that's kind of about exactness, so throwing her out of her routine kind of had her off for a little while, but on the education side of it, it's a concern as a parent. Just take math, for example. She had math as a freshman, second semester. Didn't have it first semester this year, and she was kind of in the middle of her math class. So she hadn't got a lot of math in the last 2 years. So, we'll see how she rebounds from that. But, it's not just about Danny. It's about every other kid, too. In our business, you just kind of sit back and you look, and when you ride through town, you see these signs and stuff that say when businesses were established. Well, education is not a small business here in town. It's a big business, and we've got a lot of kids that are not just missing out on the social part of school, but academics. That's a big part of their life. We've got third graders that have missed multiplication facts. We've got fifth graders that have missed finding common denominators. Right on up through the ranks. I taught elementary school for a long time, and I know how big fifth grade is, and some of these kids have just missed out on that. I don't know when. It's going to be a tough task for our teachers to catch them up, just like it will for small business to recover from a lack of business.
Let's talk about your athletic director's role at Trippe. Obviously, just like the high school, seasons were interrupted. Baseball season, soccer, track, tennis, all those interrupted and no end. How are the kids reacting to all that?
That's probably one of the toughest things about it this year. There was no end. We weren't able to tell them anything. It just abruptly ended on a parent conference. We were supposed to be out of school that day anyway, so we don't see the kids back. From the athletic standpoint, this was my first year taking over for Coach Hams, who did an outstanding job, and I had some ideas that I wanted to get into place, and one of them was a batting cage that we put at the school, and the kids never got to use it. It was being built, and the turf never got laid down before they came back. So it's I'm not a is what it is kind of person, but it is what it is. We had an outstanding baseball team this year that was probably going to go for a middle school championship. Some of those 8th graders probably could make come in here next year and help the high school team. So they miss out on that, and that's a big time in their life that they missed out on.
Going back to the athletic director's role and staying there for a moment, you guys really started some improvements over there too, to the facilities. As you said, batting cage and a couple other different things, gym floors and different things like that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, the batting cage is something that was on my list right when I got the job. I'm not real sure. That probably should have happened a while ago, but I had a batting cage down on the softball field that we weren't using after we built the new hitting facility down here. So we were able to get Carol Williams in and come up with some cost savings that we could do. And what we ended up doing was taking my frame and moving it over to the middle school. So we put a concrete slab down, 17 by 75, I believe, real nice. It's a nice facility. Had to order a net. So that was going up, and the kids were really looking forward to using that. That's multi-purpose. You can use that for softball and baseball. So the softball players will have that next year when they come back as well. We've priced a new gym floor. The rubber floor is still at Trippe, and we hope we can get that floor moving on pretty soon too.
What is the difference in the athletic directors from the high school side to the middle school side? Do they pretty much coincide, the responsibilities of what you have to do?
Yeah, obviously the high school's on a larger scale, and Coach Daly has a lot of extracurricular, a lot of different things that I don't mind. Pretty much is just athletics over there. So, there's some things that go on that we're able to talk about, and that's the good thing. We have a good working relationship to begin with. So, my idea when I came in was for it to be pretty much strictly a feeder program. I wanted input from the high school coaches to how we could make things better over there. Obviously it is a middle school concept. The kids play everything. I was going through a list to try to get these kids in weight training at the high school next year, upcoming freshmen, and it's a really good group of freshmen coming in who really play a lot of things. And I'm sure through this right here it might slow it down some. Maybe we don't pull kids in every which way, but we are a AA school, and we have a handful of kids that can help us win. So they are pulled in different directions.
And all studies will lead to that and tell you that multi-sport athletes are probably better than those in the specialty. And we have those that are in specialty, but boy, I tell you, when you're a school our size, like you said, everybody's got to be able to contribute.
Yeah, not just that, their GPAs are, there's statistics that show where the GPA is higher, when they're involved in extracurricular activities. It's not just sports, it's everything that we have here to offer. So, the days of saying that I'm going to concentrate on my grades as an excuse not to play something are probably pretty much over, because statistics show that when they're involved, GPA goes up, and they just got more people that are counting on them, and they know that.
Let's shift to the softball side of it now. This is a very important time for you. The spring, summer tryouts would be coming up in the next couple weeks. Plus, you play a lot of summer games. How's that affecting you as a softball coach, and how's it affecting the team right now?
That's right. It's the unknown that's affecting the team. And their parents are chomping at the bit for us to come back and use the facilities, that they count on coming down there to hit. And it's tough texting them and saying, I really don't know. I don't know when we can come back. So, it's kind of gives you this nonchalant, blowing them off type demeanor, and I don't want it to come across that way. So, what we did as a team is we kind of got into a book study, with the champion's mindset. Our talent's there, and, we can look up and down the lineup that we had last year of returning players, and the numbers were outstanding last year. So Coach Beck and I just kind of was trying to figure out where we could improve, and a lot of it's in our mental dominance.
The tryout part of it is something the Georgia High School Association the last couple of years really allowed, a spring tryout. Do you think you're still going to be able to do that at some point if they let you come back before July?
Well, probably have to go back to how we used to do it, where we just kind of rolled through the summer with some players and then had a tryout back when school started. But because it's hard to reach out to these kids. But the way fast pitch softball's got to the point it's got to, and the popularity of it, by the time they're 9th, 10th grade, we kind of know who it is, who's going to play. So to answer your question, kind of got an idea of what we'll go with. We'll give people an opportunity to come out, and if they express some interest, because some kids just take a year off, and want to come back, and we don't want to deny them that opportunity to be a part of what we have going on.
I know, as you have heard, that hopefully we may be ready to go sometime in late June, maybe 1st of July, if everything keeps going. Heard it from the Georgia High School Association, their hopefulness. Have you heard anything to bring people up to date of anything that's going on?
Yeah, kind of like you. We get to read the same media outlets. I think opening up some of the things in town and state of Georgia, I think GHSA is going to kind of play off of that. Hope nothing spikes. Hope it kind of stays flat. From the get-go, I kind of thought that, after the dead week is when we get to come back, which is the 4th of July week that they've always kind of mandated of no activity. So I think we can just jump back in there. So anything sooner than that, in my mind, is better. I would like to have some time with them. To me, that's been one of the backbones of our success, is some of the things we've been able to do in the summer to get our kids ready for the upcoming season.
Well, because you guys play a lot of games in a short period of time in the summer, and that gives you a somewhat of a measuring stick of what's going to come up in the fall.
No doubt, we've run. I think I had 36 games scheduled for this summer. You know, obviously some of those are 2 5-inning games on a weekday morning at 10 o'clock. But you know, it is playing time. It gives you know, we got about 25 kids in our program between varsity and JV, and they're all fighting for a spot. You know, and that's what they use. That's the tough part. You know, they've got to change my mind of what I've kind of got in plans, and that's when they use that to do that.
Before we wrap this thing up, is there anything you'd like to say on a personal note to your players, to your students, and maybe even to your faculty and parents?
Yeah, well, you know, I've been in touch with my players. You know, we stay in touch all year. We've got that kind of relationship to where they know how I feel about them, and you know, they know how important softball is to everybody in the community. You know, we draw some good crowds out there, so that kind of speaks for itself. But to just the general public and our students, you know, I do miss our kids. You know, it's this time of the year that kind of got kind of hectic at work. But you know, that ain't for me. That's for them. This is a job for us, and you know, it was for them to enjoy. But you know, I guess I kind of sit back and just think about when I moved here in 1988, in 4th grade. You know, and I just start thinking about some of the, I guess, the backbone of our school system. You know, Sherry Cooper comes to mind, Brenda McLean, Mary James, Gail Corley. Move on to Meadows, and you got Mary Bush, Pam Smith, Mary Tatum. Move to Trippe, you got James Lowe. You've got Greg James, Bill James, and then you move to the high school, and you got Jan Barfield, Phyllis James. You know, and I guess we just kind of go back to, you look at them, that they've gone through these kind of things before, and they've been the backbone of our school system. And if you start thinking about it, there's a 100% recovery of everything that they've ever gone through. And I think our teachers this day and time need to draw on their experiences and their expertise. And you know, I don't want to leave anybody out. Those are just some people that come to mind, and that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. I'll just think back of how our system's made it, because as I said earlier, there's a lot of small businesses suffering in Vidalia right now, and you know, and you see it on the media outlets to support them. Well, the Vidalia City School System is not a small business. It's a big business in our community, and I think the community thrives on it. Although everybody doesn't see the dollars in, dollars out, it's a big part of what we do here in Vidalia.
Coach, always good to see you. Thanks for coming by and taking time to be with us.
Thank you, John.